Prepping is so important, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 items that every prepper should have for SHTF or any other disaster event. Now, these 5 items are directly from the U.S. Army and are often forgot about when it comes to prepping and survival. Now, every prepper or anyone that's new to prepping should have these 5 items because one day SHTF is coming and you need to be ready for SHTF when it does. Now, before we cover the top 5 Army items that every prepper should have, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Remember to watch until the very end and don't forget to leave some comments below. All right, let's get on to the video. One of the worst things that can happen during SHTF is having to bug out and leave your primary home. Now, having to leave behind most of your valuable preps and items that you've been prepping for months or even years would be a terrible situation. But as many preppers know, bugging out, although a last resort, may happen during an SHTF or a world without rule of law situation. That's why this first item is a must to add to your prepping stockpile or to your bug out bag. Okay, number 1 is the original and reliable Army cot. Now, these have been around for years and are still a great option today in 2022. Now, these cots were in use before World War II, but became really popular during World War II and were used in all theaters of the war whenever semi-permanent or permanent quarters were needed. And these are still in use today, and that's because they work. Now, I can remember sleeping on mine every single night back in Iraq. Not the most comfortable sleep I've ever gotten, but it provided a bed for me and a refuge where I could get some rest and lay down after a long day's work. I could sit and clean my weapon, read, and write letters. Now, these cots, as you know, are foldable and can be easily carried on the top of your pack or your bug out bag. Now, also, these cots are very durable, and they've been tossed on and off military trucks for years. Now, you know how it is. Nowadays, you buy something and it breaks only after a few uses, but I can guarantee that's not going to be the case with these Army cots. So I can vouch for the quality of these cots, especially if you have to bug out. Again, they hold up well in the elements. All right, guys, moving on to number 2, and that is the Army Sleeping Bag System, or the MSS, the Modular Sleeping System. Now, it consists of 3 layers or components and a carrying bag, and each layer has a different cold weather rating and tolerance. Now, these sleep systems can also be carried or tied to your pack or to your bug out bag. Now, I can remember many cold nights out there in the field during the winter, but these sleeping bag systems kept me warm and toasty in the cold winter of January and February, but they were light enough if you used just the 1 layer for the warmer temperatures of Iraq too. Now, this was actually one of my very first investments back when I started prepping in 2015. Now, as you can see, the price of these modular sleeping systems were much cheaper back in 2015. I was able to snag genuine U.S. Army sleeping bag system for $85 a piece. Now, these same sleeping bags have gone up over 200%. Now, the patrol bag or the green sleeping bag is rated down to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So anything over 30 degrees and you're good to go. Now, anything lower than that, you're going to need to place the green patrol bag into your black bag or your intermediate bag. Now, this black bag or intermediate sleeping bag is rated down to negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's super warm, guys. Also, you can apply the 3rd layer, which is called the bivy cover, to protect you from frost, rain, dew, or snow. So basically, it stops you and your sleeping bag from getting wet. Now, this layer does a great job of keeping you dry. All right, moving on to number 3 is the Army Poncho. And as you know, this poncho can keep your body from getting wet, but this poncho can also be used to cover your cot, or it can be used as a makeshift lean-to shelter. So far we have the cot, the modular sleep system, and the poncho. Now, these all can be integrated and used together if you ever have to live in the elements or to bug out. That's why these are my top 3 items of my top 5 list. Now, moving on to number 4 is the poncho liner, or what's considered or called the Wooby. Now, these poncho liners are great for keeping you warm in wet conditions if you have it attached to your poncho, or you can use it as a standalone blanket when the temperature starts to dip. Now, I remember back when I was a young private in the Army and I was on my first field exercise and I was assigned to the advanced party team. I had forgotten my rucksack on the truck and it was getting dark and it was getting quite chilly outside. But luckily my buddy did have his poncho liner. And that kept us warm and toasty while we were laying on the ground performing security until the main unit arrived a few hours later. So I believe in this gear, guys, and I know that it works. Now, moving on to number 5 is the Canteen and the Canteen cup. Now, as you know, in any survival situation, water is so critical and crucial to your survival and preparedness, especially having a way to store water when you're bugging out or when you're living outside in the elements. Now, this Army Canteen holds around 1 quart of water. Although I'm not covering that in this video, just make sure that you have a way to purify your water if you have to bug out. Also, the Canteen cup is great for boiling water or holding hot liquids as well. You can even use the Canteen cup for personal hygiene, such as brushing your teeth, shaving, or taking a small bird bath. Now, hygiene, as you know, is a very important part of prepping, and you'll need to stay clean out in the elements so you don't become ill if you ever do have to bug out. Now, there are many more survival and prepper items, both military and non-military items. But again, these were my top 5 items that you could use to survive out in the elements if SHTF were a reality. Again, I believe in this gear. I've used this gear, and that's why our Army and our military uses this same gear to this day. Now, there may be some newer versions of it, but again, it's tried, tested, and true because it does work, guys. So if you're interested in getting some of those items for yourself, I'll leave some affiliate links for those below from Amazon. Now, if you do decide to get these reliable and trusted prepping items, then please use the links in the description to help support this channel. But guys, as you know, the time to prepare is running out, and there's no better time to start prepping and keep on prepping than right now. Food shortages, famine, and empty shelves are being forecasted by many people for 2023. And as you know, 2023 is just right around the corner. So if you haven't already, then you need to start prepping right now. I know that Alaska Prepper just did a great video on how the economy and the U.S. financial system was going to collapse eventually. Also, he mentioned how the Saudis were more than likely about to drop the dollar soon and abandon America. So go check that video out, and I'll link that in the description as well. Now, to learn more about prepping for SHTF and to see a list of my top 10 items that every prepper should have, then please check out this video right here. I'll also link that video in the description as well. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Continue to prepare, and as always, be blessed.